And, you know, and my big vision and dream is to have that the poster child of the school systems. People come to a community, the first thing they look at is the schools. You know, you know, you don't want to move your kid into a place where there's not the sufficient schooling that you expect.
So are you going to put a bond on the property taxes to improve the schools, or is that something that's going to come from private funds?
Well, I hope that enough can be filtered in for the use of the dormitory and the merging of the wounded warriors and the, well, not so, I don't know what you call those kids. They're not so good kids. Troubled kids. And bring in some school educational money through the wounded warriors, educating them and mentor them, that the school gets the money and they can do things. I mean, it would be nice, you know, we have visions of the things that I don't know if are possible, but my understanding is that there are 70 kids there, they can get up to $3,000 a month per kid for education. If that went to the school system here, I mean, you're talking $240,000 a month. They should be able to do something, and they shouldn't have to bond anyone, any bonds.
And I know Brian Young's out here somewhere. I saw him walk in, and I'm hoping he's... Oh, he did? Okay. Jim?
What about affordable housing?
I don't build houses.
You're gonna have businesses come.
Yeah, I know.
Somebody's gonna
It's
have
all
to
got
do
it.
that.
Yeah.
We can't do everything.
You're talking about some good jobs, depending on what happens to that airport. We've got plans and ideas for the airport, which would be good jobs that would be able to afford more than just affordable housing. But that is something we're looking at. We don't know if we're even going to be considered with our proposal. We don't know if what's going to happen, if the county's even going to put it up.
Oh, they're going to.
We do have things that look for jobs that are above the average pay scale. I mean, I'd like to see good quality jobs in this area.
Yeah.
There needs to be. We're not going to be building something where someone can't buy a house. I mean, it won't work. You won't get employees. You don't have employees, you can't build a business.
You got 100 trucks coming in and out of here a week, why don't you put a truck stop in?
Never compete with Nevada. That just, you can't do it.
Yeah, but if they,
There's no one from here all the way across Highway 36 till you hit the other side. I think
You know why? Because you're 50 miles, I'm in the gas
I
business.
know you are.
And you're 50 miles from Reno, and they pay 50 cents a gallon less for their fuel, and there's no hope for that.
And we're not going to operate a business.
No, I know you're not.
You know, if someone would like to do that,
Private.
Yeah.
I was talking mainly to Tom.
Hey, Tom, what about the wastewater? Are they gonna send it to the depot, or they got a water treatment plant here? Are you gonna have to expand that if you,
Once again, we can refer that to Pat Williams, HPUD.
The wastewater right now goes to the depot, with everything that we have a project that's been approved for funding by USDA, building an interceptor out to our sewer plant on the pole.
so you won't send it to the depot
The
anymore?
depot doesn't have, they have a little bit of capacity issues not on the ponds, but on the collection system getting there. It's old, it's not maintained, it's collapsing areas. So the depot to invest, well, we're looking at a $4.4 million project that's funded by USDA. It's a low interest loan, it's a $1 million grant, and that's in design right now. Hopefully we build this.
Is that gonna be enough to?
It'll meet the community's wastewater flow requirements, the immediate need for everybody that's here now, with capacity for some growth. But development needs to pay for itself. So if there's a large project, someone asked about water as well. If there's a large project that's going to require expansion of a wastewater treatment plant or more water capacity, that's part of the development cost. The community and our ratepayers shouldn't pay for developing a water source for a new job, a new development. Okay, now we have the infrastructure in place to supply it, so you have to look at the whole project, and so that, without having a project brought to us, I can't address, do we have enough water?
So the majority of the wastewater goes to the depot right now.
Right now.
And if the government shut it off, what are you gonna do then?
Put it in his yard.
It would be,
It would.
major public health issues. everybody have to put septics in, or the immediate response would be porta potties, or, I mean, you look at what's going on in West Virginia,
Right.
there's still about 40,000 people that haven't had drinking water for a week. You know, how do you address that when it comes out of the blue? And that's some of the things we try to plan for, but, you know, without knowing what a specific project is, it's hard to address the concerns. But right now, the intent of the Army is to get out of the utility business. We've already done that on the water, the drinking water. With this last summer, the wastewater is next. And that's one of the things, we need the infrastructure for the community to grow. If we're going to see any development, we need to have a place for wastewater folks to go to.
What's the time frame on this wastewater treatment plant you're gonna build?
Construction will be about 9 months. We're hoping to put it out to bid sometime in either March or April. So, you know, I don't have a firm time, but that's our rough schedule right now. So by December of next year, or, well, this year now.
Two things. Mind you, none of this would be possible if it wasn't for HPUD taking the bull by the horns by themselves without the assistance of the county. They did it on their own. We did it as a community without the county. And now it's time for us to take that next step without the county. Believe me, I'll support us from the county's standpoint, but it's up to us. And I commend Felix and Pat for what they've done with this water system. And if you would approach Sam after the meeting about your water supply, I would appreciate it. Okay.
I get the vision that Mr. Pizzullo and Mr. Smith have here, and I think it's wonderful for the community, and I hope it happens. But what kind of contingencies do we have? Because the issue here is that we lost money on this building, and we want to know what kind of contingencies are in that lease if things don't go. I mean, it's not going to stay $1 forever. What kind of time frame are you looking at to be able to do something?
All that property was given to the county by the Army in $2 million.
Right.
So you didn't lose anything. You didn't pay anything.
But that still doesn't answer the question. I mean, there's money that the county can put into the building. There's a $100,000 HVAC system.
$145,000 HVAC system.
So the
Yes.
question is, I get the vision, I think it's great, I hope it works, but my question is, if it doesn't work, how long is that lease going? What are the contingencies involved in that lease? I mean, it wasn't just $1 a month forever.
It's all negotiable.
Well, yeah, and the other end is Tom has said they're going to be reorganizing the county. So maybe some people at the county learned a valuable lesson.
Well, let's hope so.
And it may benefit you.
Well, I hate to say it, but this mistake that was made by the county has opened up the door to reorganize the structure there. And I believe that when the CAO was let go, that opened up a lot of eyes. And we're going to reorganize. And with Richard's help, we've already spoken about this. That'll start coming out in these next meetings, and you guys will be able to follow this in the meetings if you go, or you go to the Scoop.
Yes, Lassen County.
Lassen County Scoop, you'll be able to look at that. You'll see that we're going to progress in that direction. And Richard, I'm keeping him busy, trust me.
Tom, I'd like to mention, you said, Pat and I, Felix, it's not a favorite board of directors.
I know. And Jim's on there, and yeah.
We have a very progressive board, and we're very fortunate to have people that were elected by you, and that's why we're getting things done.
Yeah.
And I have to reemphasize this, the board of directors that's
Yep.
made the success that we have in our community.
I didn't mean to leave anybody out. I'm sorry, you guys are just in my line of sight. Jim's sitting down over there, he's blended in, I can't see him too well. So there's other people in here that have a lot to do with the Lou, you know, we can go on and on, but believe me, we wouldn't be where we're at with these guys probably if that system wasn't here in place. Bruce?
This has been some years ago. I remember when I first got here, one of the possibilities, now I'm talking about the big airport, not
Yeah, yep.
the big airport was the possibility of bringing UPS or FedEx out here to actually get out of the Reno area and the flight patterns that are involved in Reno area and actually bring business out here with warehousing and shipping of air traffic out here. Is that still a possibility with this land that we have that's surrounding the airport?
That's the golden goose, Bruce. That's the golden goose. And like I say, in my mind's eye, that airport is the most underutilized asset that Lassen County has. And it's got to be privatized because, as Richard was saying, we don't have the will or the money to promote that thing. When I was back in Washington, D.C., I spoke with some consultants back there about that runway. And the figures I was hearing were pretty pricey. And I don't believe that, and Richard, quote me if I'm wrong, you can stop me if I'm wrong, I don't believe that the will in the county or the money is there to do it.
Something like FedEx bring a lot of business.
That's the golden goose.
How many acres of land is it on the runway?
It's between 3,400 and 3,600.
Both sides of the road, or?
The property goes along the lake shore, a narrow strip along the lake shore to the runway, and then all the way around the runway. The runway is actually owned by and there's a few easements affecting it that have been granted, or not even leases, but have been granted to it.
Who's maintaining electronic equipment?
My understanding is there is no electronic equipment out there now, or lights, and that would have to be remedied to service commercial traffic.
Is it true that the extension on the runway is on government, county property?
Part of the runway is on county property. Correct, yes. And the county, kind of long story, but Tom and I have been researching this a lot over the last month. When the Army deeded the property to the LRA and then eventually the county, they made an error and realized that part of the runway was on the property they deeded to the county and they didn't intend to. So the county in turn leased back that property for a period of 50 years with a renewable 50-year lease, and that was done in 2005 or 6. And so yeah, part of the runway is on county property.
A lot of errors, huh?
Hey, Matt.
The community or partners achieve ownership of the property, the county property at empty airfield. What's the goals?
Our goals?
Yeah.
Well, the big one is get FedEx in there.
300 to 400 jobs, that's the goal.
It's not going to be an easy endeavor. I mean,
No.
our estimated cost just for Pole Line Road and construction is $8 million. And we're talking a lot of money, and I don't think the county has the money to do this. And nor the desire or will. I mean, yeah, it's going to bring jobs. It's going to bring a lot of money, and hopefully we'll make a lot. But it's going to cost a lot to get this going and get a vision and a dream sold.
I know you guys are well-educated, successful businessmen, but like as far as looking into the future of that property, the zoning, environmental impact studies, has all that been thought about? Or?
Well, of course.
It's been thought about, yeah.
Of course, Matt. We know it's a huge hill,
A lot of stumbling blocks.
a huge hill.
But with your help,
But
it'll be a lot less stumbling blocks.
Yeah, I just, I would hate this, I'm all for it, and hope it goes through, but I would hate to see something like, a butterfly get in the way because, somebody said, oh.
You just never know. The way it's been sitting, nothing's going on now.
Right.
We're willing to take the chance.
We're willing to
see,
take this.
that is a chancy endeavor at best, and that's why it's going to be tough to generate interest in it. So, I mean, we're not going to be able to do it. Richard, are we going to be able to promote that?
Well, my perspective on that is, I think, real similar to Tom's. And, if the county really wanted to go borrow $20, $40 million and do that, the county fiscally is in pretty good shape. I mean, we probably could do that. We could probably go borrow $40 million and invest it in that runway. I have a hard time recommending that as the county treasurer, put all that resource into one speculative investment. I'd have a really hard time with that recommendation. And that's why I believe it's better to take somebody with private money that's in the business of speculating on long shots. And I mean, frankly, I think that's what it is. It's a long shot, and that is not the business the county is in, or in my opinion, should be. I think the county should focus its resources on providing services to all you that
Roads.
write checks to me on December 15th. So could the county do it? You know, if they wanted to hawk every building and courthouse, sure, we could borrow the money to do it. Would it be wise? I don't think so.
Robert?
Question, Tom. That money that's gone and we can't get back, that was for improvements for the local area, correct? We got that money.
I'll let Richard answer that.
So I think, but now you're getting here, what I'm asking, what the reason I'm asking is,
It was,
these gentlemen are wanting to come out here and do improvements, you know, basically bring Herlong back up.
right,
If the county can't afford to give that money back to this area, cut these guys some slack on their feet.
you're talking to the right guy. You're talking to the right guy. We know that, and I know that. I know that very well. And that's why we're here tonight. We need support from the community to help make this venture successful. Right. Okay, the support will, well, we gotta get,
Go in the supervisors' meetings and say, hey.
hold, 1 second, Lisa, 1 second. They've been here 2.5 months. Let them get a game plan together.
You guys.
Oh, okay. Come on in. No, but I mean, to support them, okay, they have my support to build our community, trust me, they know that. But to support them, let them put their game plan together, and then we go as a community to the other board members and say, hey, this is what we want. Richard will support us, I'm sure he will. He's the interim CAO right now. We're getting more support all the time. I think we're opening some eyes about what Sierra Army Depot actually does for Lassen County. I don't think that people had any idea at the county level that they put $289 million into Lassen County's coffers in 2012. I don't think they had a clue until I brought it up to them. They had no clue.
Now, are the other four supervisors willing to allow these men to build?
That's where you guys come in. That's where you guys come in.
Did you go into those meetings in Susanville? To stand up and say, oh, this whole room right here, how many of these people actually didn't walk out the door tonight? You want us all to go in there?
Well, part of the problem is the county meetings are during the day when everybody's working.
And once again, until we have something to support, we can't support it. But as soon as we get a plan, then we'll start having meetings like this. We'll get everybody behind us. If it means emailing your supervisor, if you can't make it, you can watch your scoop.
And this will be on the scoop, right?
Tom, I have a question
Yeah.
for Steve.
Yep.
We had a meeting with Steve at West Patton Village just last week.
Yep.
In every part of the week. And you were talking about the cost of, or the price of the chapel here was only going to be $1 per month. Am I correct?
Yep.
Is that what you said?
Yeah.
What about the maintenance and everything else and the
It's
cost?
all on top of that.
Pardon me?
They're paying,
The county's
the
taking
county's
care of
taking
it.
care.
The
We're-
county's not paying for the
Yeah,
maintenance and everything?
we can't afford to pay a county building. You know, it's not in our budget to take over and provide the county buildings.
And the reason I asked that question is
Because of the
of
library.
what we discussed at our meeting, because of the library and the fire department.
We can give the library, like I said, for $1 a month, but we can't afford to pay the library's utilities. I mean, we're not in the business of providing a library. It's unfortunate, you know, that I don't have just an open-end checkbook and say, okay, you want a library, you got a library. I inherited, Larry inherited the library. We're trying to make it so that the library can stay here and we're not getting our clock cleaned. But, you know, and we think we're being
That's why the
fair.
county got rid of this property, that it broke.
The slack, I was wondering who was going to pick up the slack for the rest of this.
Yeah, the county was spending like $130,000 a year on that building. They used, you know the businesses there, you see the rents that are coming in. There's no way in the world it's generating maybe 20, and we can't even find the contractors that are coming in and out during the night. But it's generating probably $15,000 a year in income. So we can't afford to carry the whole burden.
Right, I understand.
Mike?
I'm just trying to figure out who's taking up the slack for
Yeah,
this building.
they're getting it.
Okay, you're thinking outside the box, I'm gonna think it outside the box.
Great, that's what we want.
County supervisors have their meetings during the day when most of the folks work.
Right.
Okay? Why don't you have the county supervisor meeting out here in the evening?
I'm not afraid of that. And I'm not afraid to go to their districts now. I don't know about that, the way they feel, so. But that's a good idea, and I will broach that subject. Colleen?
Yeah, we will. One of the programs you were talking about is bringing in troubled youth.
Yeah.
That happened before when the Rancheria did it. Unfortunately, a lot of them stayed in the area, which brought additional problems. I would love to see something with Wounded Warriors. You know, it's a military installation, even though we don't have that much military, but we support the military and we do it a lot. If it was possible to pick and choose, I'd rather have it go towards Wounded Warriors and troubled youth because,
So would we.
well,
But I think
and, I mean, if there's something that we can do to help back that up, I know a lot of people in the community would be a lot happier to see them. Well, that's what I said, they live here? They stay. No, they don't live here. I know. Yeah.
Okay, let's not degenerate into it. Barbara Lee?
How does the planning department sit with the general plan?
That's something that we're going to approach.
Several years ago, I was asked to leave the planning department because they were talking about the general plan, and I asked them what is your general plan? And he said, well, it's a snapshot in time, and I asked, when was this picture taken? And I don't think that it's, I mean, they asked me to leave.
My personal belief is the general plan has been the stranglehold on our community. Richard, I know that they can make 2 amendments per year to that general plan, and I don't believe there's been an amendment done to it in over 10 years. We're going to change that, okay?
They said that one meeting that it had not been updated, amended, or anything in over 10 years, but it was something they were going to look at.
And now, maybe I might be wrong with that fact. Richard would know more about that.
I wholeheartedly agree that it needs to be updated. As far as the details of when it was last updated, I don't know. It's dated. It's no doubt dated.
If I may, Richard, and I hate to put you on the spot, maybe I don't.
2 amendments last summer.
7 acres and
Okay. General plan amendments, I mean, the general plan is the first thing that we want to go after, okay? The road department and the planning department, those are the 3 big things that I would love to see restructured. And with the general plan, we would need a lot of input on that, especially from the purchasers of this property, to make it work for them. And I want to be very user-friendly in that aspect. So, again, I've already spoken to Richard about this.
You know, and I know enough about planning to be dangerous, probably about as much as I know about building roads and that kind of stuff. But what I do know is, oftentimes when a project comes to the county in planning, they will do a general plan amendment for a specific project in order to make the zoning comply. And in my way of reasoning, it'd be better to have the plan come before the project rather than have it be project driven. And I think that's a debate that the county's having, is that, you know, this plan should be updated.
But, you know, until we really know what these guys need, you know, we can't amend the plan and then amend the plan and then amend the plan. That's never going to happen. So this is going to be a little bit of a process. You know, it's not going to happen overnight, but we'll get it. We'll get it.
And I think it has to be driven in this instance because nothing's been done to it for so long. It's unfortunate that it has to be driven by
Necessity.
the
Necessity.
project
Necessity.
to see the availability of what's there and how it should be zoned, how it should be changed. It's unfortunate because it hasn't been maintained.
Well, once again, my belief is that's been the stranglehold on us. So, what else you got? Sam?
I think I can fairly state for everybody here that we're 150% behind what you want to do. Are we going to be able to have more of these town hall meetings so that we know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I imagine we'll get Congressman LaMaffa here and Assemblyman Dowley at these next few meetings as things start progressing, when we start needing them to back us. And we have the power to do that. I mean, we have the contacts, and Richard that's his job. And we'll have them here. So that will be to represent us. Those are our representatives in the state and the federal government. So I think I'm really optimistic. I'm really optimistic about our future, but it's going to be a team effort. It's not going to just be these two guys. It's going to be everybody in the room, everybody in the county, everybody in our district. Get behind this.
I have a question for you gentlemen. You guys are here and you're saying you're going to bring jobs. I've raised 6 kids in this community. Let me tell you, it's not easy to get a job out here except for on base. And even that, sometimes it's not what you want to do. So in that aspect, how are you in our community if I come to you and say, do you have anything available for side work or even weekend work or something like that for our youth who are trying to get work experience, or even adults who just need a little something to keep them busy because they don't have a job?
We've been trying to use local people here. We're not bringing them in for Susanville or anywhere else. We're trying to hire right here.
Okay, so how do we know when you're needing people? Because I work right beside where your office is, and I do the mail. Isn't your office right next door?
Where the bank was?
No. Where's your office?
They don't have an office there.
Oh, it's in Susanville. I thought that was.
Those guys are contracted on the base.
Well, I still work at the post office. I haven't seen any flyers or anything for.
We don't have any business out here except for owning the buildings and some rentals. Like I said, we're just getting started. I mean, we hire you to go find those contractors because we need to know.
Right, well, you're asking for help, so I'm trying to figure out in what way is this job.
We don't have
The
jobs.
next thing is going to be what we're all looking forward to. That's what you're bringing in primarily.
Yeah, we're trying to bring in outfits that will need people and will have employees. Like there's a bid on the base tomorrow. It's a critical bid. If one of the contractors that I know bid on it, then he will be renting space. They will be renting houses or living in this area. I don't know if they need any crew. They probably will. You know, but it's the beginning of bringing someone in who's going to be based here in Herlong. They're not going to be based in Reno. They're not going to be based in Susanville. You know, they may have their home office in Reading, which they do.
Right.
But there's going to be a satellite office here. If you develop a good relationship with the base and are able to get more work, there'll be more people hired here. You know, that's just trying to bring in an employer. We're not the employer, but we're trying to bring one in.
Well, I understand that because you said you're bringing other contractors this way and doing bids. I heard that earlier. But how do we as a community get in on possible work here with those companies as they come into our community and make money out of our community? How do we make money out of our community?
As soon as you see new people in town, you'll know something's going on. And I don't think it'll be very long before a new face will
Well,
be.
maybe they can get with the base too and actually put something in the challenge that comes out monthly. Say, hey, these people are going to be hired, check with blah, blah, blah. I mean, there's a different ways.
We're just asking you to initiate that in your plan as for them to please hire local
They will,
somewhat
yes.
for jobs.
Lynn?
I ain't good enough, so.
No.
I just wanted to ask a common question. Is it my understanding that in District 5, we have the top 5 employers?
Yep.
And what are they?
Honey Lake Power, Sierra Cascade Nursery, the 2 state prisons, the federal prison, and Sierra Army Depot. And I've visited every one of them but Honey Lake Power.
So we generate the majority of the money on this end of the county and then have nothing to show for it.
Absolutely.
I just wanted to get that clear.
Absolutely. I'm very clear with that too, trust me.
It goes back to her.